We're what's it called? Staffordshire University.
We're hybrids. Oh, okay. How's it going, mate?
Waiting.
Hello, hola, ciao and bonjour, and welcome to the NSC Spring 2026 VALORANT Division 1 semi-finals. My name's Avi and I'm joined today by Cavo. How are you doing this evening?
I'm feeling really good. I'm excited for more VALORANT today, more NSC. We've got 2 games of one of our semi-finals of this season coming up today, and that's really good to see.
Yeah, always. Between 2 very strong contenders this season, we got Staffordshire Esports and Hagrid's Hermione's and Bath's Last Hope from the University of Bath. So 2 very exciting teams have been a little bit of a storied history within NSC and competing outside as well. We have seen a little bit of a head-to-head between the 2 teams before. Hagrid's actually coming out on top this split with a 13-5 over Bath. So will we see that repeat today? Obviously best of 3, bit more difficult to call, but it could be an interesting one to say the least.
For sure. I think we did see that game versus Hagrid's Hermione's and Bath Last Hope earlier on in the season on our own broadcast. So a little bit of an inside look into these games. But again, weeks have passed since then. Maybe new patches have come out. We have seen a new character released. Of course, Mix in the Mix is not available this week.
No, Mix not quite in the mix yet, but for finals, most likely. Obviously, well, I don't know. We'll find out in a few weeks. But for the time being, we do have that history. 3 games between these 2 teams, and Hagrid's Hermione's have come out on top. So you'd like to think on paper it should be a repeat, but I think there is a lot of potential for this to be Bath's Last Hope. And we'll see how things have to progress, because this is genuinely it. This is a single elimination bracket. Winner takes all. Winner goes to our live grand finals in a few weeks' time. So it is all to play for here. And both teams desperate for the win today.
Yes, of course. And now let's also talk about the new patch as well. Of course, we mentioned Mix not available, but there is a whole new patch, a whole new season to play through. Do you think there are any important changes in this Mix?
Oh, you're asking the wrong person. But in all honesty, it's always good to see just a couple of these minor tweaks. Have been some pretty big changes that I've seen coming towards Clove in particular, but Clove not quite as popular in this current meta, so yet to be seen how this impacts. What I'm more interested in seeing, we are sticking with the same map pool as we've seen beforehand, so the performances we have seen from each of these teams are likely to remain the same for this week's match.
Surely, hopefully going to be something interesting. We've seen a lot of Corrode played, we've seen a lot of Bind, maybe something similar again, but once you see different teams play against each other, it always has a little bit of personality, changes things up. Of course, last time these two teams played was a best of 1, but we've got a best of 3 today, I believe, so maybe something different, maybe new maps to see, new playstyles, new opportunities.
We do. It's been, I think, just judging by all of the games we've spectated thus far, Corrode does seem to be the prevailing pick across most. I think that's fair to say. Not quite the most popular in terms of ranked play. I know that most people I've come up against absolutely despise the map, but definitely one to keep an eye out for. Always ever popular in competitive play, and seems to be the case still here in NSE. But we could see some of the more niche picks. Bind has been picked a handful of times. Not massively often, but always nice to see that coming forth. Likewise with the Ascent, has got a couple of interesting opportunities here, but it's not really up for debate. We're probably going to see the same map pool we see almost every series, and we're going to see probably the Corrode, might see the Abyss potentially, and then probably the Haven, but obviously we will have to see what our teams opt for this evening.
I would like to see some Haven myself. I do enjoy a bit of a watch of that kind of map when it comes up every now and then. And I think we have seen Hagrid's Hermione's play pretty well on that before as well, haven't we?
We've seen both sides perform well on both sides of the map, which is always good to see. This is what you want. You want both of your team performing at the highest level, especially in this do or die of a semi-final single elimination. I haven't seen the other side of the bracket. We can't talk about that for the time being, but what we can talk about is the route here, and it has been incredibly strong performances for both sides. A little bit of a flakiness at points. We've seen, obviously, Hagrids have overcome the side of Bath, but it could be important to see how do we adapt from this. If you are Bath's last hope, how do you come back from, obviously, that previous loss to the Hagrids Hermiones? How do you come forward in this best of 3?
Well, I think there's been so much new tactics available. They've had plenty of time to think about how they want to play. They've come through these matches in the bracket themselves, and they've come out on top as well. So they've got strategies they know are working against other teams. Of course, not played against Hagrid Hermiones in a while, but maybe they've got more confidence, more momentum they can bring through from these last matches to make it play out this time. So we'll have to see when we get into the game itself.
Yeah, absolutely. We are waiting a little bit longer for things to get set up. So for the time being, still stuck with us, unfortunately. Stuck with us for the whole evening, so I'm sure some of you'd be more than happy with that, but, not offended if you want to wait a little bit as we get players into game. But I think it is important to talk about the fact that Hagrid's Hermiones, we have seen some incredibly interesting plays, but yeah, it has been a little bit flaky at times, and I don't think that's harsh to say. We have seen that little bit of indecisiveness, some not quite questionable but interesting plays. Are we going to see some more mistakes here, or are we thinking it's come to that point in the split, you're ready to lock in now?
I'm not too sure. I mean, when I've seen them play, usually they take a bit of time to warm up sometimes, but when they do get warmed up and they do get comfortable, they are playing truly out of their minds. That's what we saw similarly last week. They did end up losing their first map. I believe it was a pretty dominant side against them, but then the second map, second and third, they brought it back slowly, and then they turned the favour in their own way, which is why they're here in the semi-finals as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So last week, big win for them, which has brought them to this situation, so we can trust them as well to do this kind of plays again.
Yeah, a good comeback on stream and a good performance in our quarterfinals, but I will say for the time being we are still waiting for players to get into lobby and ready, so we are going to throw it to a very short break, unfortunately, as we get things ready from our side, so we can get you more of the action soon. Welcome back, one and all, to the Valorant Division 1 semi-finals here at NSE Spring Split 2026. We did have a bit of a tiny break there just to get players into lobby, but I believe we are now getting ready to head into our map veto. How are we feeling about this?
I'm looking forward to this as well. We've seen different things from both teams. Of course, we talked about this before, but different things up in the mix. The vetoes have gone slightly similar, but there's always one different odd pick in basically every single veto we've seen so far this season. So let's have a quick look at what we're going to have in our series today. Of course, Corrode, the first pick. We see this quite often. Again, we're going back to the same old trusty pick. That is Hagrid to Minis. We've seen that. And we've seen a lot of success or comfortability on that map from them before.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've seen this time and time again from them. Corrode has been one of the stronger maps for Hagrid's Hermione's. Interesting to note, though, Bath have been extremely good on this split map coming through most of this split, but banned away immediately. You'd like to think makes a lot of sense, so they've gone for the Abyss, which you would actually favour half and half, really. It's very much, they both seem to be pretty good here. And then the Haven is just that solid Haven. It's exactly as we called earlier, the Corrode Abyss Haven mix. And that's exactly what we expect to see this map pool. It's a very standard safe, especially for this NSE split. So not a surprise per se, but still going to be an interesting one to see because we haven't really seen too much of this Abyss.
No, not so much. We did manage to see it last week in Hagrid's Minis, a previous game, but then again throughout the season, it's sort of a bit of an underlying shadow pick that's coming through this time, but it's not quite so commonly played.
Indeed.
A good thing though you point out the split ban. Hagrid's Minis might have done the research because I believe a bit of a comfort point we've seen often from the sides of Bath Last Hope. So
yeah,
good thing they've managed to figure that out.
Yeah, always good to get those sorts of predictions down, and it might work in their favour. You'll have to see how both sides look to attack these maps here. But for the time being, all we can say, a safe map rotation coming forward this match. But still, does that mean the game's going to be safe? Anything but, I'd say. So you never know.
It's always up in the air. It's always going to be down to playing on the server on the day, as our games usually love to happen in Valorant. So let's go straight in to Corrode that we've got lined up first, and our agent lock-in is first.
Yeah, absolutely. Corrode, a strong point for Hagrid's Hermione's. Not quite the same can be said for Bath's Last Hope, but we'll have to see where things go as we get our first agent locks, and it's that same sort of style we see from Hagrid's almost every single game. The Waylay Fade Omen locked in immediately. What do we make of this? This seems to be the way they love to play, especially on this Corrode.
Yes, we've seen this, I believe, identical composition as well before. They like that Waylay. They like that Vice as well. Very particular. I like this on the map as well. It does seem to bring out the right kind of elements of the team, which they play into as well. The very fast-paced rounds from both Waylay and Neon that we see, which matches the map style, but also Hagrid's Hermione's own playstyle that we see time and time again.
Yeah, very much so. It seems to be not quite a standard composition per se, but one that a lot of teams seem to fall back on a very similar style, having just immense control as well as rotation potential. You don't want to control just that one site. You want to have as many angles down, as many positions on the map down, and you have that opportunity with this. You have the control with that Vice. You have the rotation potential as well with that Waylay Neon combination, and just map-wide potential for Omen to just come in and annihilate. This does make a lot of sense as we see the mirrored composition, not something we see much of recently, but it does make a lot of sense thinking about how they like to play this map, how you want to play this map, and especially just trying to challenge coming into the semi-final.
Yeah, it does show as well that in our last matches, the semi-finals of this competition, we're seeing the best, possibly meta compositions coming through. The best tactics have been tried out throughout the season. Maybe in the new patch, they've all worked out the same kind of things. And we're seeing the best of the best compete at this level where every pick matters. So they really are going to be coming out with the same kind of ideas.
Absolutely. It has to be the best of the best to make it to NSE finals in just a few short weeks' time. But this is the furthest both teams have made it into NSE thus far. Both sides did slightly falter in NSE Winter Split, not quite making it this far. We see Hagrid's just faltering in that quarter-final. And Bath in the round of, well, looks like the round of 16 to me, but they've both made it further than they were last time. They're both looking to take home the grand finals, and this is that first step as we get game 1 kicked off.
Yes, we're all set and ready, and instantly the player known as Ken kicks off the things with the Neon head-to-head down middle, and is going to be killed off the kill for Baths, for Hagrid's Hermione's. No, for Bath's Last Hope, I'm afraid. And there's a bit of a brawl on the side of A site. Kimi Yu gets more kills, but is returning back in the side of Hagrid's Hermione's in the red on the attack. They seem to have the bomb, the site locked down, but they're not quite moving in too fast. They're playing their cards now, the round slows down, and it's all going to be waiting for more strategies and ideas to come through.
Yeah, just looking to play it safe around this A site for the time being. They do have this spike control, and there isn't really much Bath can do at this point. And they do have 2 hiding towards CT here, but do they have that engage potential? They've already taken down both of their entries here, and it seems a safe plant for Hagrid's as they take control of this pistol round early.
And nobody wants to make the wrong move here. Everyone's just playing carefully and slowly, moving around first. And it's going to be, I'm not you, moving in, going to attach the shots, but no, JWB is going to catch double there, shutting everything down, and it's just on the one hands of Kimi Yu, but JWB is on the site, holding things down, and the beginning, it is all there for Hagrid's Hermione's to kick off this game.
Yeah, that's a great start for Hagrid's Hermione's. This is what you want from game 1 of the semi-finals. You've taken control, but you played it safe. You had the potential to run in guns a-blazing, but knew that exact timing you needed to swing onto site, knowing that Bath didn't have that engage potential anymore. And it's worked out for them there. They were able to take that lead, and they're able to take this round 1 as we get into the bonus here.
These pistol rounds are so important as well. They really seem to define the early stages of the first halves of these games. So that's Hagrid's Hermione's feeling good about it. Now buying through with more to try and make this, and is aggressively pushing up once more, jumping around with a shotgun as Alfie. But now backing away, still having presence down mid, with a lot of defense from Bath's Last Hope as well. Both sides a little under-defended, expecting this mid play to be so important as it usually does. And now going to make the rotation towards A with pace. And that's the first kill as well. I'm not cute shut down, all the defenders on the site are gone, and Alfie that leads the force of that flying shotgun.
Yeah, this is the exact same thing we're seeing again. They timed the aggression to a point, managing to be able to get themselves onto their site, as they've already found 3 now. Nebula finding 2 there. And EUX finding that Neon off to the side. It's just this Vice left in a 1v1 against the counter, but does manage to pick that pick onto Nebula's Vice. But what do you do if you're a Vice in this 1v4? You've lost the round, essentially. You haven't quite lost it yet, but you're not in a great position here. You have to almost, well, you'd think, go in, properly die. You want to try and get that progression on your ultimate, potentially get an exit pick. But for the time being, that's going to be Hagrid's taking round number 2. No potential for Bath. And that's a good start for Hagrid's Hermione's here. This is exactly the lead they needed to take in this semi-final.
Yes, of course, converting on that is so important, and they did it with only 1 player lost as well, down to that classic, which was a little bit messy, but of course clean overall in the round. Nebula still managing to find such important kills. Reading the defense and the rotation was absolutely in the right spot there.
Yeah, this is good. This is what you need from Hagrid's, especially when you want to try and take an early lead in this series. But they've proven this time and time again. They love to play this calculated aggression, especially on Corrode. And that's a good sign. This is exactly the kind of play we need from them. But how do you count this if you're Bath? They do have the better economy coming into this 3rd round, obviously, but how do you make advantage of it?
Yes, of course, and we also see a lot of mid play every single time. This time, obviously, not going that way for mid for Hagrid's Hermione's, but still the defense is expecting more of a push, as they always have to, because it's always an option, and it's such an important part of the map, which seems almost defining quite often on mid. Whoever wins mid, but no, it's going down to the A side, and EUX opens things up. The doors are here for Hagrid's Hermione's to make their way through, and the rest of the team rotates through.
Yeah, good aggression. This is, again, they just want to go in and find the picks they need to then make the calculated plays off of that. And we keep seeing this time and time again. EUX, the engage, finds that early pick. And that does get Hagrid's control of this A site early. They do try and get a counter down. Kimyu does manage to get that trade down, but this does allow Hagrid's to take control of this site for now. They don't want to push on too aggressively. I say that the blind going to come forward. I'm not cute. Catches onto 2. As this swings out, we'll be able to find that one. But Ken cleans it up for a trade. And it's just Nebula off to the side. Will be able to catch out Ken, but does just about have the damage with the wallbang. Takes down to a 1v1. It's going to be perfect timing onto this Odin. Has to be so careful.
There's still an opportunity here, though, for both sides. Nebula needs to find the kill first, and doesn't plant the spike. Peeks around with confidence, and that's the round stolen away. Feels like Kimmy was waiting for it still. Has the shots, but Nebula has the headshot lined up, expected the crouch in the right position, takes the risk. No planting the spike, but it still works out in the end, and that round is brought back just again.
That's perfect timing. They did struggle potentially finding the right timing. I did a bit of a cast to cast potentially as they were trying to find the right timing on that aggression onto site. And sure, it wasn't quite the perfect timing, but Nebula coming up clutch. They're finding 2 when it mattered. And that's a 3rd round. They want to continue this momentum. They've got the eco here. You'd think they keep this momentum going, but it's not going to be easy.
Yes, now the cards are in the hands of Hagrid's Minis once more, and they're moving again towards B side, trying to test the waters of the defense of the other side of the map they haven't quite looked at yet, but no, backing away again slowly.
Yeah.
Different approach this round, but you can see an aggressive push up mid from Barcel's Hope, looking for something. Sheriff shot popped, but Zaya is going to be there to shut things down. Can't get away with that so easily if you're Barcel's Hope. I'm not used to still having presence of other Sheriff shots, but no, misses the shot, and Alfilad is there to stop things down. Now they want to push through to B once more. They've got no defense, haven't quite tested it yet, but that's where the attack is looking to go now.
I do quite like this play from Bath, trying to take control of this mid, catch a few players out on the rotation, but obviously not doing this time. That will give Hagrid's control of this site, 5 against 3, and it's going to be a long rotate over. How do you do this? How do you come back? You don't have the economy. You're playing with Buckies and Sheriffs. You have to find a perfect timing here. Is it just going to be Ken trying to find an angle around this corner, waiting potentially for Alfie to swing out? Just that one misstep too far. But that has to be it. You have to try and play for misplays at this point if you're Bath. It's too risky to do anything else.
Just searching for any consolation, any unopened windows, maybe a way into the rounds, but they're not going to find quite much. Ken is shut down with no opportunity to play into it. The last 2 players going to try and peek around the corner. Unexpected there. Find anything but Alfred, stopping everything down. 4 kills in the round, but it seemed too easy to even be celebrating because that was just clean and perfectly played from Hagrid's and Minis. Any opportunity from Blastar's Hope was not available in that round because Hagrid's and Minis were there and ready for it. They had the advantage in their weapons, and that's why the round was so easy for them.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. They try and take that play onto B initially, recognize the defensive hold that they have, back away. That gives them the chance to potentially fake a rotate, hold that angle on mid, take care of 2. And then it's a smart play. You have that control. You know that they don't really have the tools to take that control of this B site. And from that, it's just a simple clean-up business.
Vandals and Phantoms fully across the board in this round. First full opportunity to prove either side can play into this now. And the round looking a lot slower now. The presence in mid is now from Hagrid's and Minis. The defense in different areas. But no, I'm Not Cute is on the aggressive defense and going to find the first kill. Still in that mid positioning, but still opportunity to move forward from Zaya, carrying that spike and leading the team up towards that, clashing with Ken on the other side.
Yeah, really difficult to find the timing here. You do get a little bit, you do get caught out. You lose Alfie early, but it was good timing for Bath. They knew exactly where Hagrid wanted to play from this. And that has given them this opportunity. That said, we do see 3 of them hanging around this A site, and that does give them the chance to take control of B for the time being. They don't know where Bath are. Nebula potentially looking as they do pop that Vice ultimate, getting rid of any presence that they have. As JWB catches Ken. Does get traded out though by 2. Jero and I'm Not Cute catches on 2, but JWB again trading back onto Kimyu. Finding the angle, looking for Sinner. Will be able to catch out that waylay.
Activates on middle, finds 3 kills. They walk 1 by 1 into the rifle, and it's going to be going in. Now it's all still on JWB. An ace clutch demanded of this player to make it all happen for Hackers and Minis, but no Barstars Hope. They're going to be looking to defuse. And with the time on the clock, the ball when it's bound, JWB's trying to make this round out of something. There's an ace from JWB for the 5th round, and no opportunity for Barstars Hope to have any rounds in this game. Yes, again, they have the advantage once and again, but no Hackers and Minis. They are back and again stealing rounds, stealing hearts.
JWB coming in when it matters. You know exactly how Hagrid Hermione's are feeling right now. That's 5 on the board. An ace for JWB. And that was a little bit scrappy towards the beginning, but then you were able to capitalize on it. You take advantage of Bath trying to play smart around a potential rotate. You take control of that site and then let JWB play down and dominate that round.
Every single duel they took seemed to work out in the favor of JWB, just a bit faster, a bit more comfortable than every other player. That's what we saw again. Now looking towards B once more. They've tested a few times, but seem to be easy to get into every time. Now the defense is stronger from Barca's Hope this round, but still want to get in with the high utility approach.
They're very aggressive. Going in with that Waylay ultimate. Zir catches onto 2, but traded out by I'm Not Cute. Looking for a little bit more. Don't really have the time for it now, as Bath just have to back away for the time being. Let Hagrid take control of this B site. Although I say that, Waylay gets dashing on in, but it doesn't even matter when EUX catches another one. And it's a 5v2, not much left in the tank for Bath. There's Nebula taking another onto Juro, and it's clean from Hagrid's Hermione's. They don't even need to plant a spike there, they just play aggressive, find the angles, find the timing. And Bath don't even stand a chance of making it back onto that B site.
I believe just one Vandal in their hands and that 3-5 retake for the side of Barca's Hope, but that fell down instantly as well to, I believe, Zir in that attack, so not much a chance to get in. Of course, they've got some shots fired, but no, it's not going to be enough yet. Now, another full buy from both sides. Barca's Hope need to get into this half now, because it's already 6 for Hagrid's Hermione's, and you can't let them run away with this game.
You absolutely can't, but it's looking dangerous. Do you see? Very aggressive dash. Alfie catching onto Kimyu early, but Sinner able to trade out onto EUX, aware of how they like to play on this A site, taking early control. That's going to force a quick bit of a rotate early from Hagrid. This is not something we normally see from them. They've been forced to make a rotate. It's Nebula a little bit of a step too far.
Again, either side found kills to try and shut down one found in the trade for Barca's Hope against, but no, Hagrid's Mind is playing the disadvantage now. Trying to move onto the site, but no utility. Zaya, though, backs everything up. The information is found for Barca's Hope, but now the kill is for Hagrid's Mind. That's a chance on the site to get locked down, but the utility through. Barca's Hope have to relocate, regroup together if they want to make this happen now.
Yeah, nice crossfire angle there, but they're just looking to take control as they do actually pop that overdrive here looking, but Alfie catches onto Ken, taking care of business, but traded out by I'm Not Cute and Sinner. But does it matter when JWB is always stood there in the back, able to take back control of this game and take Hagrid's up to 7 in a bounce?
And it's the individualism of JWB once more again that they rely on, the Hagrid's Hermione's, and never failing. Only 1 death so far in this entire game. 12 kills to the name. And that is absolute class which you need in the semi-finals of NSC. And that is what we see as well. They can't get through this player at this point.
No, and can you blame them? The way JWB and Hagrid's have been playing allows that Fade to play so passively. Play for information, play for time, wait for Bath to overstep, and that's what we've seen time and time again from them as they go aggressive onto this A site, looking to take early control. They do force out a lot of utility early as they're looking to make a catch here, forcing out so much, trying to take control of Zir here.
It's like a house party on the side of A. Almost every player off the map over here, aggression met with aggressive defense, but now it comes to a standstill. Look for the shots. Ken trying to peek, but Nebula sees that, reads that, and that's a shot again. Desire with a double, and JWB is matching up as well. All the kills are coming through for the Hagrid's Hermione's again, searching for their 8th round. Jared just a sheriff and an SMG in the hands, nothing to have, and it's going to be fought by Nebula anyway. They can't get away with anything. Barca's Hope, not even the spike going down to the end. They're just ready for the duel attack with Hermione's. Yeah,
I think the announcer puts it perfectly from Hagrid's Hermione's. A flawless round to take them to 8 in a row. And it does seem we're seeing exactly what we see from Hagrid's. Most times we have them here on this Corrode pick. They're just controlling the map. They aren't letting Bath have any space. They're taking control of Bath's own territory early in these rounds, and they're able to take back the game.
Yeah, they're really starting to control the game. But now let's see how it's going to happen again. Bath also trying new things again, but shut down instantly. Ken falls with just a second in the round to fight for anything. Kim, EU looking for more, but EUX is there for more, spamming through the smoke, finding everything. 2 kills to the name again, and even more from Outlet. All angles, they're collapsing onto these targets, and there's absolutely nothing Barca's Hope have anything to do. Jerry maybe spotting that, but EUX is going to be on the other side of this duel. Shut down Alvilad, but no EUX there. The Sentinel on the site, trying to stop things down. And that's the round again. 9. These rounds are like wildfire. They're coming through in just a second.
I know, it's almost a blink and you miss it. We see a pick immediately within the first half a second of that round, and it's just devolving into chaos from there. Both spamming through smokes, looking for just stray picks, stray bullets, finding some angle. But are you going to argue when it gets Hagrid's their 9th round? It almost feels a bit of desperation for Bath at this point. They're being forced to take these aggressive plays, trying to find angles onto Hagrid's that seem a bit crazy in a sense. But you've reached that point in the game. You have to try and make something happen, or Hagrid's just going to keep running away with this.
I think crazy is the right word. You got to be crazy to make plays like this and have such a scoreline at this level of competition, and that's what we see. Now, I'm not tucked away in that sort of secretive position. We've seen it before though, so they might be available, looking for it, trying to get away, but no, shut down by everybody there, rotating through mid again. And that's the side of Hagrid's and Miney, a train moving together. Double fall though, jumping shot on Kimmy Yu, makes something out of this, and what opportunity now to get in. And more players falling on either side. EUX is the last hope on the team. Popping the ult, what's making it happen? Shut down the other Neon, just out to the pistol of Jero, but no, first round for Bath's hope, and that is something they can talk about finally.
Yeah, that's a good start for Bath. They throw so much down towards Hagrid's there, trying to take control with the Fade ult, trying to take control with that Vice ultimate as well. And that's exactly how they take control of this game. They force Hagrid's into a bit of a difficult position here on this mid part of the map. And it kind of gives them that position where they don't have a lot of opportunity to take any ground. That's where Hagrid's have been able to take this game. They take control of a site, they take control of a half of the map, and then they go from there. If you don't let them take this early control, that works for them, and that's what we keep seeing. But have Bath figured it out?
You see Bath going so often for these early duels and how to take them, but it's been working in the favour of Hagrid's and Miney's. So now we're seeing them slow down again. They don't want to push too far past their post and make anything too hurtful for themselves in these rounds. So now slowing down again in the hands of Hagrid's and Miney's. Maybe spotted, swam through the box from Ken. Either side, pepper damage, nothing too major though. Information though. Expecting more of a pull towards A.
This is a good sign for Bath. They do catch out the rest of Hagrid's with that haunt, but what can you do with that information at this moment? Because Hagrid's are playing so incredibly slowly for the time being, looking for any kind of misstep from Bath, an over-aggression. But that's not what we're seeing for the time being. They do trip that wall over on B side. That gives them the angle to look for a B rotate should they need it, but they're just going to spam through again. Kimyu and Ken finding picks. Just JWB to walk straight through, but that's 3 lost already for Hagrid's. It's JW a little bit of an awkward spot there, caught between a rock and a hard place.
Bit of a spray down on the A side, comes in the favour of Bath's hope. They've now got a 4 versus 2 defense, spike down on the floor, out of hands. So now we're trying to play through these things, but no, JWB shut down Sinner again, activating for that. Alpha's going to try and spam through the box, finds one, not aware of the second one. Kimmy Yu gets a second round, making something happen now. Momentum in the favour of Bath's hope again, 2 rounds in a row. They need a third to have any chance, you feel like.
You'd think, you've got to play for the 9-3, haven't you? But this is good from Bath. I'm very much liking what I'm seeing here. They're not letting Hagrid take this control of the map. They're playing aggressive, which is obviously incredibly risky. But if you take that early aggression, force them back, then take control of your own ground, what opportunity did Hagrid have to make any form of aggression there? That's really smart play from Bath here. Is it a little bit too late? Potentially they have, well, they lost 9 rounds in a row, but there is always that time as they're playing incredibly aggressive here. 2 dashing forward as Ken catches. EUX does get the trade from Alfie though.
The jousting around this A side, on this B side, sorry, just out of the side of the doors. Now they're making forward. Hagrid's and Miney is going to make the aggression, make the push through, and they're going to be here ready, spamming through smokes, but no, backed away again, slows down, damage dealt, kills on either side, but nothing too demeaning for either side. Still opportunity to play through this.
Yeah,
again.
Look at the aggression they had to play with there. They dropped that Fade and Omen ultimate just to try and take control of B side, but they aren't let through. Bath closing the door on them for the time being, as they're just looking to play it slow for the time. How do they aggress here? They don't have any more engage tools. They have that Waylay ultimate, sure, but how can you make anything of it? You've lost access to so much engage and aggression potential. Alfie's going to pop that. Will go in combination with that Vice ult from Nebula, looking to try and control this side, but Alfie does get traded out on that side, looking for more. Zir does catch one, but Sinner off to the side. Finds JWB and Zir in a 2v1. How do you do this?
Down to
If you're
Zir
Nebula.
Down to Zir to make anything happen. Available shots, damage dealt, looking for more. Now Nebula is here to stop anything and going to
Timing.
Finds was found for Sinner, shut down and looking for more on the site. Peeks there, both sides spamming away. 6 health to work with, but finds the shot. The Injero falls onto the site, onto the spike, and Nebula steals the 10th. Hagrid to Minus, that is domination.
That's a crazy from Hagrid. I very much liked what I was seeing for Bath there. They were able to take that control. They weren't letting Hagrid have any ground. They forced out 4 ultimates, but for what? And then it just came down to the fact that Hagrids were able to find that split second of timing to enter site, take back that bit of control. And then I wouldn't say clean finish, a little bit of a scrappy finish on the end there, but are you going to complain? Nebula finding the 2 there at the end to take us to 10 and 2. This is not a good looking sign for Bath. They lose 3 rounds, which you'd think from looking at this previous half, it's not going to be easy for them. But there is potential for it as we get into Bath on the offense here.
Now they're going to have to pray for anything they can have out of this round for the side of Bath's hope. And the first kill is what they might be hoping for. Zia does fall in the end. And another return though. Peeking round the smoke, catches their head, is Alfie, making more available. The defense is split, but more towards A. They know the B is not too much of a worry, and that's a good read of the defense. Most of the attack sitting around middle, as Bath love to do on this map, both sides of the map as well.
Yeah, it seems like both sides really want to play through this mid-half. But I think importantly, we haven't really noted it was Zia falling there on the Omen. That's important. You lose access to your main disruption agency there. That could cause some difficulty for Hagrid trying to take back control of the site. As that's just going to be Bath rushing on forward, looking to try and potentially take early control. Force them out just by playing aggressive. I say that the perfect timing on the swing from Sinner. Catches onto 2 more. JWB Alfie falling. So I'm not cute. Makes that a 4th. It's just Nebula.
Just
looking
the one.
for a bit of a miracle here.
Just the vice to make anything happen. Spike down. No opportunity. It's Pistol Paradise for Bath's hope, and they've got what they needed for. They prayed for this, and it's now on their side. 3 rounds. They've got to try and run with this now, as Hagrid and Minus did on their own attack, if they want anything out of Corrode.
Yeah, I really like this. They were able to take care of Zia on that Omen very early. If you get rid of the Omen, you get rid of a lot of the control of the map that Hagrid's would have access to otherwise. You lose that control. How do you play off this? We know that Hagrid and Hermione's love to play off this control, and if you lose access, they're in a lot more difficult position here. They struggle when it comes to Bath taking back that control, not letting them have access to that. And that seems to be what we're seeing more of here. They take the early pick, they force the control away from Hagrid's. As they're just going to try and go aggressive here, trying to dash past, potentially. So they do get onto this A site very aggressive, but Zia hiding, waiting for the right timing. Look for a spam, but there's blind. Perfect timing. As it will be Ken able to take that pick, gets the plant down.
Spike planted.
Quite a similar attack we see from Bath. That's hoped to be seen on the other half of the map for Hagrid's. And they're going to be moving in with such aggression, such utility-heavy approach. And that's when they got on the site so quickly, got the spike down, forces Hagrid and Minus away. Less weapons. They're still going to be pushing through with their pistols, and then lower by Kendo, popping shots from far a distance, and the rest comes around to back up the shots, and that is converted with flawless ways.
Yeah, this is really good. They're taking the control early. This is very much akin to what we've seen from Hagrid's on this early attacking half. If they're able to take the control, if they're able to force Hagrid's into a position where they really can't do a whole lot, that's where Bath are able to take this game. There is the potential. You see the angles. 10 and 4, you've got a hell of a long way to come back from here, but you think there is that opportunity from Bath's last hope. And I really do like this, but Hagrid's, they still got the option, does get tagged EUX. So just looking for a little bit of a slow play. 3 on mid. The 1-3-1, a bit of a strange one, but this does give you rotation opportunity. Having Zia off to this angle on A though, having a vulnerable Omen is really risky in my eyes. You lose that guy early, you're in a lot of hurt.
got patient play from both sides again. Don't want to make too much. But now they're going to be testing the waters of B, looking through for a hole in the defense. They might find, but nothing quite tested too much yet. They're not pushing anywhere. They're just playing their cards because they know that opportunity comes through with these aggressive pushes. Like EUX tucks in this corner here, looking for Ken on the other side. Maybe going to be checked in a second. Duel comes through, but no. Either side, both Neon's fall in the end. JWB backs up from that far distance for the Odin.
That is a good trade, though. Losing your Neon, that's a lot of your engage gone for Bath. So, as obviously, it's not great to lose a trade like that, but you're okay with this. That limits their engage potential, especially with the early waylay. Dash back the blind from Zir, though, catches all of them as he swings around the corner, catches onto I'm Not Cute, looking for the rest, gets the swing round onto Sinner, and that's a third for Kimyu.
That
is just Jero left.
A fish in a barrel lined up for the taking, and that is going to be just 1 kill away from the 11th round where Hackers of Minis getting back into this after their full attention into this. Jerry gonna look through damage dealt already from the spam, but no Alpha Lighters there waiting. Nothing you can find from that.
That's what you need, but is it a reliable game plan for Hagrids? They waited for the aggression from Bath. They let them take the control, knowing that they can't quite take full control themselves, and I liked this. It was able to get them that angle on that A site, but was it almost a lucky play from Zir? I liked it a lot, I really, really do, but was it enough?
You'll have to see. And one thing I like to see about Hagrids and Miners as well, it never relies on one player's skill. Every single member of this team, every single different role, comes through in their own and has their own pop-up moments. We've seen, I believe, Zia in the last round having their own triple to prove themselves on the stage, and they're doing that again, once again. Now aggression on mid, looking for shots, nothing found. Information backed away, but still looking at things. Kimyu opens up the kill feed against JWB. Fade for fade, falls.
Yeah, you go fade to fade, and you're not going to argue with that pick for Bath, losing so much information with the loss of your fade there, but that will give them the chance to potentially look for an engage onto this site. I say that too for Hagrid's going in. Ken Court slides around, doesn't even matter when Zir's looking for the rest of the team.
Yeah, Ken searching, fishing for anything, but no, Zaya is there waiting. Shut down by Jero. More available now, moving into the site, exploring for something, but they're still testing the water of this push. Got the advantage on Bath now. Hagrid and Miney's backing away a bit.
I like this angle for them, though. It has Nebula off to the side, potentially wary of that rotate through mid here. But Alfie finds two onto Sinner and Kimyu. Aggressive for the waylay. EUX tries to slide on through.
30 seconds
but
left.
The awareness for I'm Not Cute, and it's just Nebula left.
Planted.
Not a lot left in the tank. Does have that flash. But is there the timing for it? Looking as they swing out, catches one. But Jero able to cover for I'm Not Cute, and that's going to be a fifth for Bath.
It's that quick double for Bath last home. That's got them through again. Now they're really playing for it. Stuck in there. Fighting bar for bar with Hagrid and Miney's this time, in contrary to the last half that we saw. Of course, they need more and more to keep up in this game. Otherwise, it might be running away from them. But Bath are showing that they've got the opportunity, they've got the rounds to try and play for this map still.
Yeah, I really like it. It did feel a little bit of an over-aggression potentially from Hagrid and Miney's. Not really what we've seen from them massively so far, but it makes a lot of sense. You want to try and take back these rounds. But is there really that much? I wouldn't say that much worry. You do have this immense lead for Hagrid's Miners. You can afford to play it slow. It's Alfie. Dashes over looking for one, but JWB the first to find the pick onto Jiro. This is a start for Hagrid's. This is where you want to be. They do get the blind onto Ken. Traded out Nebula. And I'm Not Cute balls. EUX finds two.
Fight on both sides of the map, and it all goes down on A side, everybody falling down. It just seems to be 1 versus 1 on the side of A, but it's the defense on B that we're catching out other kills that has left alive to make anything happen. They're going to try and rotate through, but it's on Kimyu to make this round happen. Spike on the back, going to be looking for Zaya, the last defender of A remaining. Needs that last kill before any spike can come down. Going to peek around the corner, look for it. Spots the shoulder, but nothing found yet. No kills, no damage.
You've got to be so careful here. You know exactly where that Omen is. You know exactly where Kimyu is in this position, but you have to be careful with this timing. You lose them back to back. That's scary. You have to get a double swing here. As Kimyu finds that first one, you almost expect a double swing there. JWB not quite covering, but able to find that double swing. able to finish it up as Hagrid's able to take themselves up to 12 match point in this first map.
They're really testing that from Hagrid to Hermione's. They went for the single peak one by one, wanted to be sure and trusting in their own skill. First one doesn't work, but then JWB is there to make it happen. They had the second player to work with. They really wanted it quickly to get through, and that was unexpected as well.
I did like the idea from them though. They went for that singular swing, but that did give that time for a quick defuse whilst your back's turned. And sure, it was risky. You could have lost out heavy there, but working in favour for the Hagrid Hermione's there. But there is a lot left in the tank for Bath. They have 3 ultimates available to them. A 4th, only the 1 away. But you have to, it's do or die now. Map point in map number 1 here on Corrode as Hagrid's looking to try and finish things off. He's going to throw everything down here, looking for Nebula. And it's messy as they dash on through. Sinner gets the Judge straight onto Nebula's forehead. But he's left in a difficult position here. Judges across the board as Alfie just sat in the corner. Finds Sinner as JWB the one to find the rest of the picks. That's 3 for the fade to finish up map number 1. Messy there at the end, but Hagrid Hermione's happy with a 13-5 finish for map number 1 of this best of 3.
Yeah, they do manage to convert their own map pick of Corrode. We did get to see that in the end, and I think they're very, very happy to see that come through. Of course, that was what they wanted to see. They've got the confidence. It's shown they've got strategy and ideas on the map, and that attack side, 10-2, was pure class. We had to see from them.
A domination almost from the side of Hagrid Hermione's, but signs of life and then control of the game for Bath's Last Hope. It looked good for them, but it almost felt a little bit too much for the side of Bath's Last Hope. Hagrid Hermione's taking this first game as we're going to get things ready for game number 2. Don't, what am I saying? I've lost my words.
Don't miss it.
Don't miss it. We'll be back soon. I don't know how to speak sometimes.
That's fine.
welcome back everybody to the NSE Spring Split Valorant Division 1 semi-finals. Hagrid's Hermione's from the University of Staffordshire have just taken a commanding lead in this series, 13-5 over Bath's Last Hope. It's looking tense as we get into our second map.
Yeah, we started off with a 10-2 lead from Hagrid's Hermione's on their own map pick of Corrode. That really settled things. Bit of a more look into the second half, but then again, Hagrid's Hermione's came back. They had the rounds in the end and the map. But next, going to Abyss, which is Bath's own pick.
Yeah.
So maybe a different story going to be told.
Yeah, quite potentially. We've not seen much Abyss from both sides. Only the one game for each, which both were able to come out on top here. So it's a bit of a toss-up between who's going to actually take this one home. But you'd think, looking at that previous game, Hagrid's, they have been performing incredibly well here, but this was the pick of Bath. So you could potentially see a few pocket picks here, a few niche strategies. They picked this map with the intent of knowing they have the exact plan on how they want to take this one, but I don't know, it's difficult to call because of that previous map. It looked dominant for the side of Hagrid's Hermione's. It's a difficult one to call.
Yes, we're seeing different looks, different duelists so far. Astra locked in on both sides, as you would expect. But looking at other options now, hovering different options. Maybe trying to work out a different strategy, different way through this. It is their own pick on the side of Bath, so maybe they've got ideas, different options to work with if they've been practicing on this, a couple of scrims maybe, to work out what is in their best hands.
Yeah, you think so, but we're seeing a couple changes up here. We're seeing pretty much the same thing for duelist Alfie and EUX back on the Waylay and Neon, which, yeah, fair enough, they love playing this combination, but they're opting for the Astra, which does make sense for a map like Abyss. It's the more common pick here with the amount of space you have, the control you can take with an Astra here as well. But interestingly, Vito looking to be picked for both sides here. Apparently a bit of a pocket pick for Nebula, but Ken looking to match that here.
Yes, and now locked in as well. We're seeing matching Vito, matching Sovas, matching Astras, but the rest is up to Comfort, I believe. So different options for these two teams. Not quite as much of a mirror we saw last time, but Abyss, again, I don't think they've played each other on this map before, so a lot more is up in the air to play through this time.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see how both sides opt to play this. Are we going to see that almost signature controlling playstyle from the side of Hagrid's Hermione's? Or are we going to see them try and play that map a little bit more safely, potentially? Are they going to try and stay back? Or are they going to say, you know what, we're going to go all out here? It's difficult to call, but you have to keep in mind this is still Bath's last hope, their pick. They chose this. They have the strategy, you'd think, as we're going to get things kicked off. Map number 2 in our semi-finals. If Hagrid's win this, they will be the ones to take to the stage of our grand finals. This is genuinely Bath's last hope here as we get things kicked off in just a moment.
Yes, they're going to have to kick things off with a bang, you'd hope, and that's what we expect. We're on the defense side to start off. Hagrid's Hermione's on the attack, and once again, mid-presence, and once again, aggression again.
Very aggro from EUX here.
Managed to pop shots again, but no, I'm Not Cute is solid and staying there in the end. More kills coming through from Ken, either side having more attack coming through, but no, the slow round slows down, and presence is towards a B. Seems to be read by Ken. Popping shots away with the classic, but no, forced away by utility as well. Nothing available to attack, rotating around, but no, coming through. Dueling around, Ibila pops the shot round, Snappy on with it. And Ken falls down in just a second, no opportunity to play through, and the site is fully down, spiked down. 3 players on Bath's last hope to make things happen, but they got to come through utility. They got to come through the crosshair of Nebula, just here waiting for anything to happen. Smokes pop through, not enough though. Shots coming fine, different angles. Zyla waiting too as well. Nothing quite half-bound.
Pop shots for the time being, but Zia will find that first. Does get traded for Kimyu. His blinking health. So I'm Not Cute does fall. Nebula off to the side. And it's spamming straight into the cranium of Kimyu. And this is what you need. You take in that early control and you play from there. You take a little bit of aggressive angle on this mid. EUX running all the way forward, not quite able to find the pick. But are you going to complain when you get that information? When you are able to say, right, we know how they want to play this, and then taking control of the map from there. This is an early start. This is what you want, taking this aggressive lead. And now they have the early control for Hagrid's.
Nebula was unstoppable on that site once the position was locked down. No one could get through past that pistol. No opportunity to get into the round at all. And that is what got them the round at the end. 3 kills for the taking. Now looking for more rounds again. Holding things down. They want Bath to make these again. Defensive pushes as they do. We saw it again on Corrode now. We see similar playstyles no matter what the map from both these teams.
Do you get the catch onto Kimyu though? They know that they are there purely based on that ultimate orb. And that does give them the chance to say, right, we can group up around this A site. We have that safety knowing that Baths aren't going to want to push in really. But they have to find an angle here. We're taking down relatively quickly as a rush towards this B site. They know there's 2 over on this A. They just have to find the right timing here. A little bit of a peek round. It's just Ken here. Let's get the pot shot onto JWB. Not really doing too much here. They're just going to dash on forward, looking for information. As they rush onto the site, EUX sliding around the corner, looking for the spray down. Does get onto Ken. As Nebula finds Sinner and Alfie onto Jero. Does get traded out though. EUX falling. But they've taken this control. They're continuously doing so as Kimyu. Okay, I was about to say as Kimyu falls off the map, but you'd think in this situation, not wanting to give away any ultimates here, not wanting to take any more money. We know the round's over. Let's just give it away. I like that from Bath at the end, but the aggression from Hagrid's, again, it's clean, it's clinical, and very, very effective.
Yes, of course, it had Ken's solo sheriff shy of any kills in there, not quite able to find anything at all, and that's why the defense stopped down so quickly. No opportunity to get back in. The bigger buy gave them the advantage to come through. Now Vandals, as we expect, on the 3rd round for Bath. They want to get back into this now. They want a close map, and that's what we might see coming from them now. Heavy stack towards A from Hagrid's Hermione's.
Potentially red here though. Kimyu aggressive, looking for it. As Alfie dashing forward does get caught, but EUX is the one to find that first pick. Stun onto Kimyu. Will be able to find something for the time being, but just going to safely back away as JWB gets almost a free plant. I say that. Kimyu just going to drop down from the heavens. Stab through, finds the pick. And it's blinking health already for Jero. They will get this plant down. A little bit of a scrappy fight there to begin with, but they do have this control. They don't quite have the angles looking towards CT just yet. I say that though as Ken manages to just walk around for the time being, looking for a little bit more. They walk through this wall, we're able to find Alfie and Nebula. And they're just going to swing around the stack and find the rest of the Hermione's.
It's important that Kimyu managed to get away after those opening pick kills. Back tucking away again. They can't quite close out those trades, which gives the advantage, more opportunity for Bath to get back into this, and that's what we saw. We wanted more.
Yeah, this is really good. I kind of took the wind out a little bit. I was thinking, right, surely we stopped fighting for a second, but no, it was clean, really, from Bath there. They took a little bit of early aggression, but then we're just able to play us back. They didn't let Hagrid's really have any of the ground they needed there. They took the site itself. But where we've seen Hagrid's thrive is when they have not only that site, but the rest of that half of the map. They don't give them the A site fully. And Bath, yeah, they're able to take back their site. They're able to get the retake. And sure, they take that round. That's pretty good. That's what you need for Bath here.
It's what you expect from their own map pick as well. Looking at this now, they seem to understand exactly what they need to do, and it is showing against Hagrid's own tactics as well. Looking for more aggressive push, getting that ult orbs, not quite shying away from this A side, but no, there's no aggressive push up on the defense this time round. Not opting for that from Bath now, just to solo back on the other side of sites. So I'm not going to find any information, but no, Nebula pushed up past their post on this B site. Unexpected now, making some noise, making some available options. Ken spotted, damage on both sides, but no kills found. Backing away, maybe the fake players being drawn over towards B, but there's only one player that's been spotted for the side of Hagrid's, so maybe they're not too sure. And nobody really quite aware where this push is going to go. The spike is moving towards B now.
Standing ahead.
Nothing too locked in. Time to work with as well.
I do like this though. They were able to take down a lot of that early veto utility, and now they don't have quite a clean site to push forward to.
30 seconds
but that does give them the opportunity, knowing that there isn't that utility, as they go in towards back, looking for their angle. And they're able to get this plant down. His ultimate's popped down, looking for a flash around the corner. Ken does catch onto Alfie, as the ultimate will be able to save Kimyu for that. But traded out Nebula. And Zir traded out there as I'm Not Cute catches onto 2. Looking to get this defuse though. It's just JWB off to the side. Catches 1, looking for a second. Able to get it, but a fraction of a second too late. As the rest of Bath just able to stack on that spike there and finish the job, take us to 2-2.
Snappy pair of kills found, but the round again can't find it in the end because it really comes down to the spike at the end of the day. The kills are beautiful, but nothing really matters if you can't win the round. Does get out with the life and the rifle again helps the buy on both sides. Seeing the first operator invested as well on the side of Sinner on the hands of that Jet. Maybe a different tail. Not seen an operator yet in this series.
No, we haven't actually, which is surprising. You would have expected to see an operator by this point, but Sinner the first to commit and potentially risky. You don't really have as much of an angle here. But a very aggressive, I say that, EUX slides round the corner straight into the crosshair of Sinner, who finds a second onto JWB, looking for another. And won't quite be able to find it as Alfie just ducking around the corner.
Demonic fights here, trying to find everything, trying to scrape away any damage. But no, Alfie finds a different kill instead. Trying to push through, finding everything. Wants to duel with that Jet, but finds other kills instead. Hungry for more though. Is Alfie. Nebula finding the head tucked away. That's the sight lost in just a second. Maybe a hole in the defense. Sneaks right through, finds it available. Always prodding and searching for something, and that's what they found. Found an undefended sight and a back turned head. So that's what they've got. The plant down as well, and more available in this round after all.
Play there. They take the control. They're able to force a lot of the positioning out by faking aggression, and now they have this control as Alfie. Able to just walk ahead. Nebula finds a second onto Jero. And it's just Kimmy not really in any position to do anything off this flank.
Even with this astral divide up in the air, nothing much you can do. You got to go through something in the end. It makes it so difficult to play through. Finds a double. Kimmy activates on the long sight line. Double kill found, but no, Nebula there is going to shut it all down in the end. No opportunity. Ultimate pop to Nebula, and it closes out in the end. Hagrid needed that more. Needs to get the lead back in their own hands, and they managed to do so with that.
It felt a little bit strange at the point there. You see Sinner finding too early with the operator, not really something we kind of expect, especially from that kind of angle as well. You let EUX just jump at you and then take a nasty flick. That's kind of insane to think about, right? But are you going to argue? That does force Hagrid to make these slightly strange plays. You see a bit of a flank lurk, and it pays off. They're able to take the control of sight, but then it almost came crashing. Kimmy, really good play there. They're going to look towards this A site, incredibly aggressive, and Bath is going to let this happen. They don't have really anything to challenge this for the time being.
Hagrid's really pushed their way onto the site, charging like a rocket onto it, have control, have manipulation of the site and the rounds now. It's really on the hands of Bath to make anything happen, steal it from them. Popping shots away with the Sheriff is Can once more, but no, can't find any damage or any kills yet. And there's two players waiting around the corner with rifles pointed at you, waiting for anything to happen, and no fights are happening too much. But Sinner, but Kimmy, you double, and then one from Ken as well, activates this, the whole kill feed is green, and it's all down to Bath in the end. They managed to find the opportunity on all different angles, find their own kills in the end, and it pumps through with such dominance. Sunburns on the site as well, because the sun is shining through for Bath.
Okay, yeah, sure, I'll go with that. But I think that was a bit of a difficult one. Sure, they take the early control of site, but that's the only thing they take control of. They take the site. They don't really take control of that half. They let Bath push in through CT and through attacker's side as well. That's kind of letting them take an angle that they really had no business taking otherwise. And yeah, you just got to spam through with a stinger, and you're not really going to argue with it if you're Bath here, because you're just able to take advantage of the fact that Hagrids weren't able to take full control. And that's kind of put them in a vulnerable state here. So it's kind of proving the difficulties, some of the struggles that they're going to have to face if they don't get the full control. But Jero finds that first pick as the overdrive's popped.
Once again, A push as well, aggression. They know they can get it quickly and easily. They lost a player on this, and it's the defense backing away. But no, they're still pushing through, avoiding the Sova ultimate. The double falls down to Jero. That's a triple on the round, and Sida finds more again. Shut down in just spare seconds as well. The Sova had them all in the pocket of that ultimate, and it worked out in the end.
Yeah, it almost feels that Bath have figured out how they need to play this. They've let them take that site early because they know that Hagrid's who cannot really afford on this map to take the control of that half. And yeah, that's given Bath the opportunity to find the retake angles. They let Hagrid's try and find something, try and take that early control of site, but what else are you doing besides that? You're relying on pot shots from there. And yeah, that seems to be Bath's outcome here. They want to try and force these pot shots, force these angles where Hagrid cannot take control of site. And that seems to be the way they're going to win out these 2 rounds here.
Is these retakes as well they've been trusting in. The plan is easy for Hagrid to mine these often, but no, Bath in the end have everything. Aggressive push, Alfie that backs away, gets more kills. JWP though shuts down Ken again. I'm not keep backing up kills again though. Round middle, shutting down any other alternate angle, and it's all down to the side once more.
Yeah, we are seeing it again though. They've got the control of the site, but what more do they have beyond that? They aren't able to take control of anywhere else. They do force out that Phoenix ultimate, so that's another tool lost here potentially, but that has given Bath some information. They're going to pop that Sova ultimate, looking for something. The Hunter's Arrow not quite catching, but Alfie and Nebula catching Kimmy and I'm Not Cute. They're just looking for Pixie. A 2v2 here as Jerry manages to take out JW's Sova. But they're both on site. Flick comes through onto EUX. And it's just Nebula left here looking. The operator in hand for Sinner. But swings around the corner. Jero.
Concentrate, Sova.
It's clean. You're able to swing. You're able to take that pick. And get the defuse just about.
Just bare seconds away.
It's difficult. Hagrid's, you've got... We know. We've seen this before. They have the ability to make these plays happen. They're able to make these things happen. But it's not really happening for them when... Frankly, you just cannot take full control. Bath have found the angle where if they stop Hagrid from taking full control, they can just come in and find a clean retake from there, rely on Hagrid's pot shot ability, and yeah, that has put them into a really difficult position here. That's 3 losses on the bounce for Hagrid's, and they've not really been in this position yet.
It really is these retakes. They let Hagrid's and Miners get the spike go down, but what could possibly go wrong when they've got the opportunity to get back in? But no, aggression early on. EUX downing double with the shotgun and Nebula as well as Sheriff. Early kills are often found, but not in this caliber from Hagrid's and Miners. Pushing for more again. EUX shut down by Ken, but no, Alfie there with the unexpected operator as well, trying to make more out of this round. Just a single player left. Hagrid's and Miners nasty want this. And they have to get back into it now. The site's there as the player's out of the way. You've got to say this is their 4th round again.
Yeah, this is going to be 5 and 4. Jero just going to opt for the save. And in this position, can you blame them? This just... You don't have any opportunity here. 1v4 on the opposite side of the map. You just want to try and play this as safe as possible. But let's talk about that aggression from Hagrid's Hermione's. They're able to force EUX all the way into mid, which we keep seeing. We've seen this a lot from them in the past as well. Did manage to work this time, not quite getting immediately picked off by the operator, but from that, they're able to force so much out of Bath there. And from that, they are able to take control of the map. Once you're able to take control of the map, yes, that's when Hagrid's are able to find the angles, find the plays. And it's difficult. How do you force these? You have to go aggressive early. But can you really force yourself in these aggressive positions? It's difficult to make that happen. It's difficult to force the aggression when you know how strong Bath are on these defensive sides. But this is a start. This is the kind of play you need in this position. Has brought them back to 5 to 4, so this isn't bad. They've got to keep this momentum going, otherwise Bath, they have control of this defensive half.
It's really back and forth though. You see either side getting kills, getting rounds here and there. Even when they're brawling with lesser weapons, it still comes through either side. But it makes the better play. And it comes down to the tactics and the raw aim at the end of the day, because both teams are so confident and comfortable with either side. Now, once more aggressive push towards B, going to be probably looking at that waylay aggression, initiating this fight, but no, nothing to get. As we're going to see, Alfie trying to look for anything early, but no, gets away again alive. Ken being pumped damage away, utility fired away once more, but finding more kills for Bath again. EUX shut down. Neon is not in this round anymore to help you out, and you've still got the players on the site. You still got to play through this, but now it's in the hands of Bath.
Yeah, it's good for the start. This does get in control of the site, but we've seen this before. Pops around the corner, but Kimmy covering for the teammate there, and there you go. Bath is going to be able to swing on through. JWB Gets the plant down, but is there anything left? A bit of a mistime for Jero there. Brings us to a 2v1, but Kimyu and Sinner, I wouldn't say clean there, but it's the same story we keep on seeing for Bath. They kind of let Hagrid straight onto site. They know that even if they do get onto site, they cannot afford to take the rest of the map. And yeah, they cannot. Hagrid just cannot control this map. They're able to control the site. But when you have so many avenues for a retake, that's where Bath have found their angle.
We've seen both maps come down to these duels so importantly. Last time, the first time we went to Hagrid to Miners, in the end they had the duels coming to their side, but now it seems like Bath are dominating these duels, these raw aim fights in the end, and that's what's getting them so much. And these insane retakes in the end where it feels like it's out of their hands, but they still make things happen in the end. It's still on them, and they come through almost every time.
It's difficult to call because you can see the talent and the skill for Hagrid's Hermione's, but can you make anything happen based off of that? And at the moment, it doesn't seem that way. It seems they can't take the full control they need. And we did see a little bit of a falter potentially on that game we streamed last week from Hagrid's Hermione's. When they weren't able to take control of the map, that's when they struggled. So Bath have found their avenue here. Because Jerry finds the first, I say that traded out immediately. Kimyu brings it back. It's messy on this site. They do get down onto this A site, and it's just I'm Not Cute left.
It's really EUX activating on the site, trying to find everything now, and that's a double which is coming through with that utility. When the Neon gets through the defenses on the site, really activates for EUX to find more and more multi-kills all the time, and that's what's got them this round as well. Coming through just in the end to make this happen. Looking for more is I'm Not Cute, but not very much opportunity or time to play with to have this round an opportunity or a realistic avenue for Bath in this half.
Potentially a bit of a aggressive retake almost. You wouldn't expect a retake like this, but I'm Not Cute gonna look for it. Potentially does get tagged by the recon. They know exactly where this Astra is and they're able to swing out. A bit of aggressive here, but I'm Not Cute! Catches onto 2, not able to finish out the round though. But potentially a misstep for Hagrid's there. They lose 2 more than they wanted to. Not quite going to mess up the economy per se, but you lose 2 unnecessarily, and that's going to make things potentially difficult coming into this final round of the half. It looked clean. It did from that very early stages of the round, but then suddenly, I'm Not Cute coming up with 2 there. That's the kind of comeback you need. Not quite able to clutch out the round fully, but those picks will prove important here.
It really does look pretty, but at the end of the day, the time was not available for the defuse anyway. Sinner though, activate this round with a fast shot again. Neon shut down once more, popping everything out. And now the second one, Jero, is found again around this early aggressive push from Hagrid's Miners is shut down. But looking for 7 on the half if they want this. And it's playing with just a few different opportunities now for Hagrid's to try and get into this. They've lost their 2 duelists. And a third one for Sinner. Trying to find everything. This Jet is finding so much with the operator. And it's so difficult to play through. You've not got the same kind of weaponry available for Hagrid's and Miners. And it's showing because that is such a valuable weapon that you've got on Bath. And it's proving in the kill feed as well.
Yeah, it's difficult there. You have all these rounds of letting Hagrid's walk on you. And then suddenly Bath switched up at the last second, go aggressive onto the Hermione's, and suddenly they're able to take control early. They found 3 in the early phases of this round. Make that a 4th. There's just Zia left on this Astra. I said Azir for a second. I've played too much League. I'm sorry. But that is the first opportunity. They know exactly where he is, but it doesn't matter.
Just playing with their food now as well. They really knew that round was theirs in the end. That's what the lead after the first half now. Still close, much more of a brawl than we saw on the first map of the series, but it's now Bath showing they've got more opportunities to get into the series. They can really play through it in the end. And now we might have more. This pistol though can tell the tale again. Opportunity for Hagrid to come back into this, try and maybe equalize things, but also it could be a chance for Bath to run away with a scoreline and their own map pick.
Yeah, of course, it's looking dangerous for Bath's last hope here as Hagrid's Hermione's. I wouldn't say they've struggled, that's not true at all, but they've not found the angles to take the control they so desperately need here. And when it comes to having to rely on picks, that's sure you have the capability of that, but is that a reliable strategy? I'm not saying it is, because it seems to me when we're playing around finding those picks, Bath seem to come out on top here as they're going to go aggressive on this B site here. Nebula, though, does capitalize, taking care of Kimyu, as Alfie's able to take a second onto Sinner, make that a third for Zir, onto I'm Not Cute, JWB, onto Ken, and it's just Jero there, 14 HP in a dream, but that'll be a team ace, quickly, for the Hagrid's Hermiones.
All activating now. Scoreline is 6-7, finding everything for Hagrid's Hermiones, and they're getting back into this now. They really want to light up again, and maybe the confidence from that more clean round in the end to get into the series once more.
Can we just go back to the fact that you just looked at the scoreline and said 6-7?
Let's look at the opportunity for Hagrid's Hermiones there. They really have a better buy now in this. They can get through. They want to activate and they want this map now, because a 2-0 would look so good for them to get through to that last final.
It would do. But do you have the potential? They are taking a little bit of an aggressive angle here, looking for some spray down on towards this A site. Not going to be able to do so for the time being. Concussed has come forward, not really catching anyone on the side of Bath yet, but that does force out a little bit of utility from Hagrid. And that is Bath's opportunity to look for and rotate.
You can't count out these classic pistols. We've seen again in these NSC matches, a classic can be as valuable as a Vandal and sometimes in the right hands of the right player, especially that Ken opportunity now.
That would be the craziest thing I've ever heard. A pistol, classic, just as much value as a Vandal. Sometimes, you know what, if you're on a tight angle and you're going for a right-click shotgun, sure, I can see it, but a little bit too far, I'd suggest, as they are looking. They do catch the rest of Bath here. They are wary of this, as you say, the right-click coming forward. I'm Not Cute, taking the mirror on Astra. Going onto the back, EUX flicks onto the heads, and it's just Ken left on this veto. Spike is down, but do you have the opportunity, pistol in hand, to really make anything of this? I'm saying no, doesn't have the time, as the defuse is going to go forward.
Off the map.
And off the map, yeah, but the pick tagged by JWB, that's going to get a little bit of kill credit, that's going to get you that little bit of extra money, a little bit of extra ultimate progression. Not really what you want if you're Bath there. You want to try and sacrifice yourself to limit the resources that you get, but a bit of a risk there. Not one that worked out there for Ken, so I like the idea, but not quite doing. But that's too early. They've taken both pistols early for Hagrid's Hermiones, so how do you continue this? You're able to play aggressive here on this defensive half, and sure, you're able to find the angle for it. You've made it work. Are we going to continue this? They have the early, well, they've taken early control of this A site. Looking for an angle towards spawn here, but just going to back away, looking for info and damage. They spray through a little bit, looking to potentially catch the flashes. Going to get popped forward here, looking for a potentially over-aggression here. Jero, a little bit far forward, but doesn't really get caught. I say that, it's Alfie, the one to fall first.
Spam through the box.
Does get that pick on to Nebula. That's not looking good. That gets them this control of a B site, as Zir's able to trade it out.
Upgrade found as well. Looking for more than ramp, but no Sinner. Shut things down again. No more retaking away the round from Bath. They need this now. They want it as well. They've got the advantage and they got the site to themselves. Two players rotating in. It's EUX and JWB to try and team up and make this happen. Teammates trying to push through the defense, but no, the economy is not the best. The weapons are not the best against this defense, and it's going to be locked down for Bath.
You think so in this position? They do have the potential. I say that as I'm Not Cute. He's going to be able to dodge the shots of JWB and finish off EUX's Neon there. So you like the idea, but obviously a little bit too aggressive from the defense of Hagrid's Hermiones. And it's getting close, 8-7 in this game number 2. And you'd think that Bath's last hope, it's been a lot closer this second game than previously on Corrode, but it is looking difficult. They've taken control for the time being, but it seems that when it matters, Hagrid, they still have the opportunity to come back into this.
We're looking at players with moments like that, like I'm Not Cute, who are really solid in their own opportunity when it comes down to their own moment, and they come through in the end. We've got to talk about this again and again.
Aggressive defense. Alfie just going to jump all the way forward with that TP back, but that does give you a lot of info. Kimmy just going to go around with the ultimate. Gets caught by EUX, but that's good info. That tells you exactly where Hagrid's looking to set up, and that gives him the opportunity to look elsewhere on the map.
Now testing other different defenses then. Sinner though finds more in the middle. Zaya falls down with nothing to say for it as well. Testing the defense of Nebula has been a strong force in this game, but no, the other Vito finds the kill in the end. Ken pushes through, and that's the team pathing away onto the B site, and an opportunity for this round as well. UX is there to back up the defense, finds one, but then traded out Jero. Again, so strong in these duels, finds everything when needed.
It seems to me we're facing a very similar situation to last round. We're seeing a 4v2 in favour of Bath, and Hagrid's just going to opt to say, we lost out on it last time. We don't really have the utility to go in on it this time. They're just going to look for overextensions, potentially some exit picks here. As Bath, the pretty safe one, take us to 9 and 7 here. Obviously we'll have to wait down for the spike to explode here, but Hagrid's, they've been caught out here. They've been caught off guard. And sure, they're able to get that one pick onto Ken here, but it almost feels you have to play around the rest of the team. It's not really as sensible as you want, as JWB, a little bit of an overstep. Kimmy who catches, but a good trade for Alfie. You'll be happy with that and happy to back away here.
Gets with one rifle in the end. Still, the money is not the best for Hagrid and Minis.
Oh, okay.
Finds another one,
I'll be happy with that. That's very happy news for Alfie, lads. Waylay there, but it's not looking good. 9-7, so still a good performance. I'm not going to discredit this. This is looking good for Bath's last hope, but Hagrid's, they're not looking as dominant as we've seen in the past. They're not looking as aggressive, because when they don't have the ability to control, that's when we've seen them struggle, and that's what we're seeing here today. They aren't able to control because of the, frankly, just smart positioning and timing for Bath. So go aggressive here on B site, looking for the lurk onto Ken, but not, yeah. You see, you got to have the lurking veto there, but it's smart. You're able to back away. As I say that, Alfie walks straight on forward as Nebula finds another onto Jero. Really do take this point onto A site, but that will be a 2v2 for the time being. As Alfie, aggressive, Sin a little bit too far forwards, looking for a catch on attacker's side spawn here, but they've got two coming in on the rotate. Alfie and JWB, they've got the opportunity. Kimmy, who does have the ultimate to play around, but it's a little bit tough. Looking to invest early, doesn't really give away too much for the time being. Use the running back, try and find out where they are. Does look for the spray.
Kimmy,
the transfer clean through the box to catch one, and a spray straight on through. And that is a miracle play. That is saving the round as Kimmy takes Bath to 10-7. That is a play you needed right here to not save the game just yet, but saving the round. That is how you play.
I think esports is about moments, Valorant is about moments, and that's a moment from Kimmy Yu we've got to talk about again, maybe after this as well, because that is the kind of moment which takes a map which is so close in the end to be a win in the favour of your own team. And Bath are now playing through this with more of an advantage, more opportunity, just because of Kimmy Yu's own moment there. Looking for more again in this round. Confidence for the last, carrying over, looking for the EUX, but nothing quite found yet. Opportunity more. There's so many ultimates as well available for both different sides in this round. Could go either way, perhaps.
Yeah, we've seen a bit of an aggression on defense from Hagrid's, and sure, it's been working out for them, but this time they're just going to opt to play a little bit slower. And to be fair, you can afford to. Sure, you were down 3 rounds, but you've seen how the aggression has paid off. And I can understand why they'd want to play a little bit slower here. Nebula does have control of this B site for the time being, so not quite going to give it up for free. Covered by Zia, but does get spotted out. Bath know exactly where this veto is. As they're just going to look and try and take control. JWB actually the one to find a pick off towards mid. That's your duelist down. Entry lost for Bath here as they're looking for control. Pops down the Astral Wall, pops down the evolution for veto. As Ken, they're just trying to take this Dashing on forward though. Alfie does go through, but it's 2 for Ken, 2 for Jero. And it's just Alfie Lad in a 2v1, not really having much. Swings out and Ken finishes off the rest of Hagrid's.
So dominant as well. Once they get that control of the site, it feels like there's no taking that from them, no opportunity. And even when it's not theirs, they're going to come through and steal it anyway. They've got everything in the end, and they've got the right plays to back this up. Maybe even the map, the hero picks, the agent picks is coming through in the end, because it feels like they've got every opportunity set up perfectly for the side of Bath. And they're only 2 rounds away now. 1 eco and 1 full buy from Hagrid, so I need to try and battle this away if it's in the hands of Bath.
It's looking tough. Hagrid's, they've not had any of the domination we've seen from them previously, and they have to play it differently here. We saw them play a passive round there, and Bath were able to take control and take advantage of Hagrid's passiveness there. So we'll have to see a little bit of a different play here. They do let Bath walk onto this site for the time being, as JWB just going to get a tag down with that shock dart. Not really doing all too much for the time being, but that does get Bath control of the site. Looking for something with that Marshall, but there's really nothing left here as Alfie ready to dash on forwards, looking as the rest of Bath is going to dash on forward. UX falls early as Kimiyu just going to walk around the corner. And it's just Nebula left. They just get walked on. The flick does come forward, but looking as Kimiyu shortly to the face of Nebula. As it's 12-7. Map point for Bath's last hope. It's looking tense, it's looking difficult for Hagrid's here. They've not had a great time here on Abyss. But it's looking really good for Bath, as they're looking to take this one home.
Just brilliant in the end, and that is Kimiyu, and 21 kills now on that Phoenix. Not quite seen as much in NSC, but maybe the comfort pick coming through from this player, and that is really defining this as well. Almost every round, it feels like there's so much high value from a player like Kimiyu that you've got to rely on, and is coming through almost every time. Now, one more opportunity for Hagrid to get back into this game for Staffordshire Esports, but no. Pushing away, aggressive is Bath. They want the site for themselves. EWX finding more again. Opportunity now found. They're looking towards B. The spike is over the other side of the map.
Yeah, run it back does give them that information. They know where Hagrid's are looking, so they're able to get a bit of a rotate over, but Hagrid's not quite falling for it yet. They've still got all that veto utility set around here. As Nebula looking to take an action onto the high ground, as Ken just walking straight on through. Perhaps not wary of where they are, as I'm Not Q will take a couple of body shots there. Say that one tap does get the swing onto Zir. As Kimiyu falls to Jero, finding EUX, and Ken and I'm Not Q, a little bit of I wouldn't say an awkward spot, but the rest of Hagrid's on high ground, ready to dive on through. But is there much left? They get caught by that recon.
There.
They don't know. Gonna drop down, looking as they will be to catch on to Ken. Alfie and Nebula swinging round as JW the one to finish it off on I'm Not Cute.
They played through all the hardship. They don't care about the scoreline. They need the round now, and they managed to find it at the end. They need to come through again, hopefully convert more, because they need momentum now. A single mistake feels like now is going to sell the entire map. So every single opportunity has got to be going in the hands of Hagrid and Hermione's. We've seen one now. That round is theirs. But now, what's going to happen next after this? Operator again invests for Sinner. They got so much money to back up for Bath.
It's difficult to come back from this. You've got so much money for the side of Bath, and Hagrid, sure, you were able to take that round, but even if you walk out with 3 rifles, mind you, you're not looking as safe. You're not looking as stable economy-wise. So you cannot afford any more mistakes here. We talk about Bath's last hope. This is Hagrid's last hope of a 2-0, and that's taken early as Kimiyu finds the first blood onto EUX's Neon. A little bit too aggressive for Hagrid's early.
Lights up the kill feed again. Another one found, and a third in the round. That is Bath really defining this last round, possibly. Only 2 players remain for Hagrid and Hermione, so they want Abyss to be theirs. but it's looking like Bath, their own map pick, is in control. There's not much you can do. Your Hagrid's Miners, and now again, Sinner is feeling everything right now. The shot comes through into Alfie, shuts down, and JWB, the last player remaining to have any opportunity of Abyss to be theirs. Not quite sure what to do, just a Vandal to play with, but the spike is down on the other side of the map. You've got to play through the entire team of Bath if you want this map to be yours, but it's looking like the confidence has come through in the end. One found consolation, but KMU has to find this top of the kill phase, and that is a map pick, making it a 1-1 tied score between Bath's Last Hope and Hagrid's Hermione's.
Yeah, I think that purely came down to the aggression and control that Bath were able to take there. They almost played exactly like we saw from Hagrid's in that previous game on Corrode, and obviously it worked out for them. They were able to take so much control of the game, not allowing Hagrid's anything. And I've got to say, I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Bath, and we've finally got a series on our hands.
Yes, it's going to come down to a third map, third opportunity, last chance. It's going to be Haven. I'm going to see that after the break.
The tightrope gets tenser and tenser as we do take things to game number 3 of the semi-finals. A dominant performance on Corrode for Hagrid's Hermione's. But Bath's Last Hope able to take, I wouldn't say a dominant, but a convincing game number 2 on Abyss as we get things into Haven for our 3rd and final deciding map.
Yes, we come down to one last map, which is the last chance for either team to qualify for our grand final, our land finals of NSC later on this spring split. So it's coming down to just one opportunity, 24 possible rounds for any team to make this happen. So what do you think is going to happen on Haven?
Well, I think just looking at our team's histories with this map, it definitely feels a little bit messy. We've seen fairly equal percentages. I mean, it's a 50-50 win rate for the side of Bath's Last Hope. Hagrid's Hermione's 3 wins to 2 losses, so it does feel a very coin-flippy map here. And that seems to be the prevailing case for most of these kind of, I wouldn't say weird, but more open maps like this. It's weird having these 3 sites and then being able to take control of all 3 of them. But if you're able to do that, you're in for something amazing here, as we do get started with our agent select, as we're seeing pretty much the same thing from a couple of things here. JWB on that Sova. We've seen a lot of this from him. We've seen a little bit of the Fade, but the Sova seems to be the prevailing option here.
Also, the Phoenix from Kinney U was really insanely important the last map, so maybe going to come through again. Comfort pick, I believe, chosen for Kimmie U. So good to see that again.
Yeah, it does bring a lot of value. I mean, we talked about it briefly, but the utility you have with your ultimate run it back, not only can it save you in that fight, but having the utility of being able to pop your ult and then round a corner for free, that's a lot of information you can get just from having just a couple of extra ultimate points, and you can afford to do that. And I like this from them. It makes a lot of sense on a map like Haven where you need information. This is a very info-heavy map, and that's why we're seeing a lot of these info agents picked. We see the Phoenix picked for Hagrid's Hermione's themselves, but opting for the Sova Cypher combination. So a lot of utility for finding information here. And more, well, not quite similarly, but differently, we see the Killjoy picked for Bath's Last Hope, so not quite as much utility in terms of information gathering, but a lot more in terms of controlling a site potentially. It's going to be interesting to see how these 2 match up. Obviously, Hagrid's opting for the Neon, the Jet rather, for Bath, so not quite mirrored, but very similar styles in how they want to play. So it is very much going to be a coin flip, as we keep saying, as we keep seeing from both these sides on Haven.
It's really up to individualism in this now, and their own agent picks and their own play on the server, on the map, which we're going to have to see. We saw that kind of individualism come through with Abyss, and that went to the side of Bath. So maybe something similar, but maybe not. It's a different map, always a different story to tell. So what can we have in this now? A pistol round coming through just shortly now. Defense from Hagrid's Hermione's, attack from Bath.
Yeah, going to be interesting to get things kicked off. Honestly, I need to see more control from Hagrid's Hermione's. They've struggled a little bit on Abyss there when they weren't able to take any control of the map, really. They were able to take on the site, but they were almost given control of that. They need to find a way to control the rest of the space surrounding site. And you can do that a little bit more on Haven, potentially, but it is a risky business here. So we're going to see Bath walk on through onto this B site for the time being.
They're testing the smoke, they're testing any opportunity now, and it's going to come down to the first push now. But looking at different angles, different sides, opportunities of A and B for Bath. They're looking at different ways they can come through and popping shots as I'm Not Cute around that middle attack towards B. But Alfie opened up the kill feed for the first onto Ken. Now they're going to open things more onto on the attack side, but no, they're walking down towards A. It seems to be left undefended. Now Kimmie U walks straight through the Phoenix, but Alfie's returning kills in the other favor. Both sides getting kills and opportunity into the round. EOX shuts things down. We're going to follow on to Jero, planting the spike. 2v2, no, 2v3 perhaps for Bath.
They have that little bit of info. They know the spike has gone down. They know that I'm Not Cute is around, but are they aware that you've been able to lurk into this corner, looking potentially to catch multiple on the swing here? Gets the right click down, not quite able to find the pick as Nebula finds it. And EUX continuing straight onto Jero. Does get the trade, but Hagrid's Hermione's just about finding that, not quite the right click connecting from I'm Not Cute's Omen there, but you're not going to argue with that if you're Hagrid's Hermione's there. That was a risky play, working in Hagrid's favours.
So much damage, but nothing quite found on the headshots, on the kills that you'd want in that pistol, and that's the opportunity given up. It's Hagrid's Hermione is set up perfectly, and they've got the opening pistol again, which we want to see if you're on that side. Now, getting a bit of an outlaw for Sinner. We've seen some good sniping shots throughout Abyss as well from Sinner, so wanting to activate and get some more out of this, bit of a hero input as well. So
potentially a little bit risky. I like the idea here, but obviously using a little bit more utility, and especially Alfie already finding that early pick onto Sinner. You were just highlighting not quite the hero rifle, but the hero sniper there, and Alfie's just able to take down that jet so early as the spam through from JWB. That's already 3 down as Bath. They don't have much left in the tank here. And it's just, where do you take this? Ken's been tagged up, and sure, you have the outlaw in hand for Kimyu, but do you have any utility to make a push here?
Hagrid's Hermione's reading everything. They need that confidence at the start of this map, which they're going to get, and that is going to be really happy if they're on that side. I believe they've started every map so far with 2 rounds in their own favour, so not really going to tell the full tale, but it's good for that confidence, for that momentum they're going to take through. Even Alfie finding more from stopping down Kim again. And it's going to slow down again. Just one player, just Ken, trying to pop through, but there's 2 players who are waiting. You can't get through. Nebula's going to shut things down for you.
Yeah, it's just sensible and clean. You have the gun advantage, and getting that early pick, taking care of the hero for Sinner, that's important. You take the control, and you're able to make anything happen off of that. That's kind of exactly what you need in this position, but an almost expected play here for Hagrid. You take the first pistol, you take the second round, and now you don't quite have the economy advantage anymore, but you got momentum from those first 2 rounds, and you know what Bath's aim is here. You know how they want to play this. I like this a lot, but not quite able to tag the shots. JWB looking for Kimyu's Phoenix there. Just going to be able to walk straight down. A little bit of healing, but not looking fully healthy.
Gets out of life though. That's the important thing there for Kimyu. A little bit of health added back onto the bar there. You see, in still 5 versus 5 on this round. Still looking towards this A site. Heavy presence from Bath. They want to make this their desired location so far, and actually it's good because only 3 players are defending. A little bit of light defense on the other sides. No, they're going to be backing away now, playing for other opportunities as Ken leading the way.
They're almost looking for a little bit of a bait here, potentially trying to bide their time, wait for an over-aggression from Hagrid's Hermione, which we have seen from them every so often, but on this defensive half, not really as much. I say that those EUX is tucked away in C. Cubby knows that they want to come in, but Kimyu just able to find it on the swing. The Sheriff straight to the cranium. And that's a good start. That does get them the C site control, but Hagrid's, they know this is happening. They're going to be able to walk through here. They are able to take back control. Azir finds 2 with the Bulldog. Straight onto Kimyu and Jeru. And that's 2 more down. Just the killjoy of Ken left. And you're not really in any position in a 1v4. Shots down does catch onto Nebula, but the rest of Hagrid's cleaning up business for a 3-0 for Hagrid's Hermione's.
It falls down again to the defense of the C site, which has come through. Yes, they get the opening kill, they read the positioning of EUX, but no, it's still the whole team that's coming together in the end, quickly rotating through the entire map to come together, and they lock down the site in their own control in just seconds. And we've already seen 6 kills in the first 3 rounds from Alfie, defining these so much so far.
Yeah, and this is important. It's not quite the expecting Alfie lad to carry here, but it's having the ability to say, we have this player to rely on. And it's not been reliable the whole game, but having the opportunity there, as EUX has stepped too far forwards, potentially waiting, but Kimyu, always wary, knows exactly where this Neon is. Finds a second onto Zir's Omen, but blinking health looking for it. Does have to run it back to fall back on his... Nebula does get the trade onto Ken, looking for a bit of a swing here, flash jump forward. But Alfie ready to just spam through and take that safely.
Still playing for this though, there's still opportunity. Alfie and teammates coming through onto the site, want to take control back. Back down long is the retake, the attack, from Bath, trying to make this happen. Popping shots through this, but I'm not cute is there, the other side, unexpected, makes 3 crowds in the round, and that's the first round for Bath. They're getting into this now, shutting down Hagrid's Hermione's.
Yeah, I like that a lot. You take that smoke straight onto the spike, and Hagrid's, you cannot afford to push out. You have the crossfire angle through C long and through garage there. There isn't really the chance to peek out. You have to wait and see. But then you're just able to take advantage for I'm Not Cute. You're able to say, we know that Hagrid's cannot push out from this position. And you're just able to take it straight on through. I like this a lot from Bath, but it is still early game. There's a lot of potential, but the pressure from Hagrid's it's looking good for them so far, as they're looking to take a second here, Bath.
We've seen multiple times just the solo defense on that C site on EUX for Hagrid's Hermione's, but now putting a second player there just for a bit of safety. They don't want to give up in a big rotate, a big aggressive push to give up the entire round. So now they've got more forces available. They are looking towards the site. It is Kimmy leading the charge on Phoenix, as we've seen before, but nothing too much yet. Now making some noise, possibly making their moves to the other side, doubling up for a double push. Nebula shuts things down. Spam through is Kimmy falling to start things off. EOX is still alive on the site, waiting for anyone to peek through, show their head to their face, and spams down sprays. 2 found already, 3rd one there, and the last player they're waiting shuts down again, but JWB closes it all off in the end. Hagrid and Hermione's have everything lined up. When you give EUX the chance to play on the site, it is going to come through with so much value, and the round almost certified, as we've seen.
Yeah, it's a day at the shooting range, and it's just clean. You don't really have to worry about it if you're EUX there. You've got the potential to just sit there knowing that they've smoked themselves off a little bit too much potentially, and Bath just walk up as a group and just reveal themselves one by one. It's clean shooting from EUX there, as the Neon able to take quite a few that round, and that's 4 for the side of Hagrid's Hermione's now. This is a position you want to be in. You want to take the early control, and you're able to do that by playing a little bit slower than you have been previously.
Yes, of course, Bath, no, they need to come back into this and show they're still a high contender. It's not too far away from them. They're still got to play through this, and they want more rounds quickly.
Oh,
heavy push up on Nebula, going to be ready for anything, but Jero stops it all down. The aggressive hold is given up, and C-Site is left undefended. A late rotate is going to be forced. The entire of Hagrid's Hermione's that's left alive going to have to come through. Ultimate's popped though, but shut down already. Sinner and Kimmy doubling up for more. Alfie on the side trying to find anything more out of this round. And it's JWB as well, but there's not enough opportunities. 3 players and 3 ultimates as well available for Bath to try and have this round. Lockdown, Jero closes it out again.
Yeah, it was smart from Bath there. I'm not 100% convinced of that Nebula aggression, potentially thinking I'm in a safe position to walk forwards, but losing your Cypher early like that, losing the site early, that gives Bath the chance to walk on forwards and catch you out on the rotate, and that's exactly what we see from them here. Hagrid's just kind of split themselves up a little bit too much, not really expecting the play on towards C here, but even if you react timely with that rotate, what do you have when you're just getting walked on? It's difficult, and yeah, Bath are able to take control and take the game. Well, not quite the game, but take the round. So how going to try and play aggressive with knives here. Looking to dash forward, potentially goes up. Sinner just going to go straight shotgun to the face from EUX, but they're having to jump on through. Kimmy, who does get 2 with the Vandal.
Spray down on the site, they find 2 to open things up. Alfie's still active, finding more. Just 1 kill for consolation, but it's still brought back. And in the end, 1 player remains. Nebula. There's a bit of a brawl in the fight, but no, opportunity there. Sheriff in hand, no, so a classic in hand to make anything happen. Not in the favor, but anything's possible when you're Nebula, and you fire 1 more into Jero, and a rifle picked up. Ultimate popped, and you want to really play for this now. So Nebula spam through the Kimmy, who finds it in the end. It's just a bit of a bare wall to defend yourself. You're just going to be shot through and shut down.
Yeah, a little bit of a messy fight to begin with, but you see Bath take advantage of the fact that Hagrid's really weren't expecting that aggression from them. Because in what world can you safely afford to make a push like that? And you have to give Bath credit there. They took the I wouldn't say the craziness, but the unexpected nature of that play to just make an aggressive angle forward, and then what can you do if you're Hagrid in that position? You've been forced so far back because Bath were just walking straight at you, no fear in their eyes. And that's all she wrote. Like, I don't know what else there is to say when Hagrid just get walked on. And we've seen that in the previous 2 rounds as well. Bath just walks straight onto Hagrid's Hermione's ground and take advantage from there.
It's aggression for aggression, but Alfie doubling up for 2 kills on the site. So don't forget about me, I'm still here. And he finds more again. Throwing out utility, looking for a third one with Jero. Shuts it down in the end. 2 players, unexpected, and I'm not cute. Finds more. The site is turning into the control of Bath. Zaya finding another, but traded out again by Jero. That backup force always there. Nebula makes this a 1 versus 1. Still playing for the round. The spike is going to be planted down, but going to be moving towards heaven, trying to play for anything. Avoids the ultimate Killjoy. Now it's just a clean 1 versus 1 to make anything happen. Utility there, knows the position, dropping down, finds the kill in the end. Nebula steals the round out of the hands. Playing with it in the end, playing with the food, knows it's fun, and knows they can get back into it the 5th round for Hagrid's Hermione's for Staffordshire Esports.
Yeah, that's, I would say, incredible, but at the same time, it feels very messy for both sides. They're not quite clearing in the way they should be, perhaps. And they're making, I wouldn't say sloppy mistakes, but they're making a handful of mistakes that's making things a lot scarier in these rounds. Especially when you just force yourself into 1v2 positions a lot of the time here, and it's difficult to make a comeback off of that, but Nebula just has the confidence to say, you know what, I'd win. And to be fair, that's exactly what we've seen a lot of these rounds. You have to play with confidence, because Bath just take control of the maps here, as Alfie's playing with confidence there, just walking straight on forward. Finds the first, Zia the second onto Sinner. And it's aggression. So much aggression as they go forward again. The flash around the corner from Kimyu. All for naught as EUX stands his ground, waiting with the judge in hand as Nebula, wary of Ken there, does get traded out. It's Jero onto Zia there, but Ken very far forward here, does get onto Nebula. So this is looking good for them, but they forced a split from Hagrid's Hermione's. They got 1 through CT, 1 through mid. With JWB not quite able to find the pick onto Ken there.
It's opportunity now for Bath. It seemed like the round was out of their hands, but they're making an opportunity now. E-Rex going to come through, Alpha that doubling up. Moving onto the site with his pace, trying to find that kill. Seems a bit of a miss from Jared, and Alfie teams up as well. They're going to steal the round again away from Bath in the end. That's theirs. And it seems like they're going to find 6 rounds about 14 minutes into this half so far, and it's starting things off better than we've seen on Abyss.
Timing the game. Did you say we're at 14 minutes into the game?
Around that, maybe.
Okay, well, I'm not sure why you're timing the game. You know what, it's all good fun, I'll give you that. It did feel a bit weird there almost. I wasn't fully convinced at that starting play, purely because Hagrid's just able to take advantage. Alfie and Zia just walking straight at you, and sure, we've seen it work for Bath, but Hagrid's saying, you know what, we're going to fight fire with fire. It paid off for them.
Yes, we're going to see the first timeout, though, of this entire series, pulled by Bath's last hope. They want to get back into this. They don't want any leads to be given up like this 3 rounds away. Still feels like a large amount when it's your last series, last map to stay alive in this tournament. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to talk things over, bring it back to the basics, and try and come back with more in this map. Yeah,
it's a difficult one to call, but I do understand and respect this. You've been struggling on these maps, especially you've been struggling the maps where Hagrid can afford to walk at you and take control, and you need to find an answer for it. You found an answer, forcing Hagrid into a position where they couldn't really take any of that ground, but map like Haven, Hagrid's, you can afford to play it safe at times. You can afford to run at Bath. Sure, they're not taking the ground they want normally, but they're able to take control purely by stepping back and letting Bath at them.
And it really does happen that way sometimes. But coming through aggression with 2 duelists on the side of Hagrid's Hermione's, they know that aggressive pushes come through from both sides. They want to lead that. But JWB, though, ultimate comes through Sinner Court, opening up the fight, and EUX is right here in the spawn almost. Kimmy returns the favor, but EUX and second found as well. speeding through in unexpected positions.
Yeah, no, spike control.
Nasty shot keeps it alive, but Zaya shut down in just a second, but EUX is there finding everything. Third kill of the round. Confident in this now. It's just Ken, this player remaining to make anything happen, but it feels like it's going to be shut down. Just a second from Nebula rotating through. Unexpected.
I like this a lot. That was a perfectly timed read from Hagrid's Hermione's. Wary that coming out this timeout that potentially Bath would want to play a little bit slower. Wait for the timing to come forward. And that's what we see. Bath do play that around that a little bit slower, and Hagrid say, you know what? If you want to play slow, that's fine. We've got the gun advantage. We can afford to run at you. And you know what? If it works, it works. You have EUX and Alfie sliding on forwards, and then you take spike control. You don't let Bath take any space, and you just win the round off that. It's really smart play from Hagrid's and a perfectly timed read from them.
Now, they're almost running away with this map in the last moments. You want to see Bath get back into this. They've got a full buy now, 5 Vandals available on this. They've got to make a play, as they've seen, match the aggression of Hagrid's Hermione's and try to steal some rounds away. So what they're going to need to do. Looking towards this mid to C approach, but nothing too aggressive or too quick, too fast. Seeing Nebula push through as well on C defense. Looking for more. Shots popped on either side.
Well, at least they cleared corners this time. Seems to be cleared corners. Not quite the most popular thing these days. As Kimmy going to walk on forward. Does catch 2, but doesn't even matter. When Alfielad's there, finding 3, Kimmy will be able to return the favour with the shorty, but the rest of Hagrid's, they're well aware of this. And JW be able to find it. And it's just Ken left. There's not a lot left in the tank for this Killjoy. Not really any potential as Nebula off to the side to finish off that Killjoy. As Hagrid's 8 and 3 in this first half. They're looking potentially to take this 9th. And it's looking difficult. Bath, that we're not seeing any signs of what we saw previously on Abyss. They're not able to take control of the ground. I keep saying this. I'm going to keep saying this because they are struggling to take control when Hagrid's are just running straight at them.
It really comes down to that triple from Alfie was the pure skill in the moment you need. I believe the only player in our NSC Valorant that is hit Radiant this season so far as well. So maybe that individual skill popping through in the end, highlighting and bringing 8 rounds to the team already. I believe so, as he told me today.
Well, if Alfilad says it to you today, I'm going to trust his word for it. Can't deny it if I don't know of anyone else myself, but they will get the plant down early as EUX is going to slide on through. Doesn't quite catch anyone yet. As Bath last hope, they're just going to run straight at them. And it's just Alfilad left in a 1v5. Not really have much left as does get caught out off the side. Crossfire angle through sight and garage there. As I'm not cute, takes 3 in the round to take us to 8 and 4.5.
Closed out the half with more as you want to see from Bath. They got 4. It's not the perfect half, but it's enough to talk about and enough to get back into this game if they need to, which they do need to now. Seeing the Phoenix on both sides being the sides being the highlighting factor. 15 for Alfie, 14 for Kimmy Yu. They are really defining this kill feed and this game almost.
Yeah, it very much feels like, as much as we see a lot of the kill feed just lighting up in multiple different colors, that's kind of where it gets a bit more difficult, because it always seems to come down to either a 5v1 or a 1v1, and that's where it gets a little bit more interesting and fun. It's never the team winning. It's never just an individual playing it. We're seeing just a mess from both sides, and I like what I'm seeing here. This is fun and interesting, but makes things difficult to play around. Sinner going to find the first pick onto Zir. That's not really what you want for Hagrid's Hermione's here, losing access to your Omen early, but you do still have this angle looking towards this A site for the time being as EUX and walk on forward, catching onto Sinner. But is there enough left? They say that though. EUX will find the second onto Jero.
It's just
they're
more.
Just looking to take sight for now.
It's just more and more than dinner play for EOX lined up, munched up, and that is the spike down, the site giving up. Kimmy tries to find something from Heaven, finding more out of the way, but no, he should have started in just a second. Blinking, you missed it, and 9th round for Hagrid's Hermione's.
Yeah, it's looking really good for them here. They've been able to say, you know what, we can afford to run up. Sure, we lose that first pick, but we can just run at you sometimes, and it works. It's the balancing of aggression and playing it slow, and we seem to be seeing Hagrid's on this map saying aggression is key to their strategy here, and you know what? It's working. I'm quite happy with it. I'm sure Hagrid's at 9 and 4 are quite happy with it as well. Bath need to find an answer, and they have to find it quick. Otherwise, this will truly be Bath's last hope.
I believe it has been almost every pistol round of the entire series and gone towards Hagrid's Hermione's in the end. Maybe bear a few, but most of them come to their favour in the end. In our last pistol round that just passed as well, it's gone to their side as well.
Isn't it? It's interesting, but Hagrid's just, they seem to have control of every pistol.
They seem to have that for sure. It's that raw pistol skill that you see sometimes. Now we're seeing both teams going for a bit of a different stack, a bit of a train line in different directions, not expecting each other. A bit of a sneaky play from both, but it's going to go into the favour of Hagrid and mine as they find an empty site in the end.
It depends how much and what they want to invest here to guarantee it. They won't invest masses, but that does give them the chance to plant this spike, as they do potentially see this play coming from Bath. Nebula off the side does get the first, looking for more potentially, won't be able to find it, but does catch the info onto 3. As they know exactly where Bath are now.
UX, they're waiting for Ken to walk straight through, find anything, shut down by Ken in the end. And JW is searching as well on the heaven for Jero, who's forced out down. Again, Zera finding 2 with the Bulldog. Jero is still alive down on the site. Team up with Ken to make this happen. And Ken find a 3rd with the Sheriff in this round, stealing it away possibly. JWB's got to try and find the kill in the end. Shuts down that. I got to stop the spike. Just bare seconds left. JWB playing with it all in the hands. The Sova versus Sova, and shut down at the end. JWB gets the round. It's 10.
I think production will allow me to say that was a rambunctious round. A scrap towards the end there, as it just felt like no one knew where they were at any point. And then suddenly just closing it out towards the end. That was incredibly messy, as they both kind of take a different approach. Hagrid's just going to force their way onto the A site here, as Bath attempting to make a bit of a rush down towards attackers spawn through C, but the info that you get from having Nebula on the lurk there, you just take everything there. And sure, Bath already could take a few kills back, but is it worth it in the end?
But they almost stole it away in the end, and Ken now lighting up, finds EOX, and that's their entry into this next round. They're going to find they've got advantage coming into this now. Only 4 remain, but still opportunity. But Sinner lights up again, finds another kill in this round. That's making it even more double for Sinner as well. Countability in 3rd. Even then, just 1 player left is Zia, trying to make this round happen, but no, it's lost in just a second. That's okay for Hagrid and Mines. They've got a lot of time and rounds to play with, but it's also good for Bath to get back into this game.
Yeah, that was, I don't know how to describe that one, because that was a really strange round where Bath just say, we're going to take a lot of early damage with that shock dart, forcing Hagrid to potentially split their focus a little bit there. And then suddenly, you can just walk straight onto Hagrid. It feels like whichever team decides, we're going to walk at you first, wins the round. And it feels like Bath, they might have found that they have to be the aggressors here. Hagrid, they don't have as much of an answer to Bath's aggression. But likely, we see it again, Hagrid, they've got the aggression too, and Bath don't have that answer either.
It's coming down, the pacemaker now, EOX in this round, forcing everything through. Alfie is full, but going to be coming back due to the ultimate pop. I'm Not Cute still popping through. Kim, EU popping through for damage. Looking for more. I'm Not Cute comes through, but JWB is there to shut things down in the end. Jewel is important, but is in the side of Hagrid and Miney's. Looking for more on the side of Sinner. Activating, but it's a triple 4 in the round for EUX, who finds everything. Just a second of spray down of the entire team, and that is nothing to play for Bath.
I have no idea what happened there, because it's one of those you blink and you miss it, and suddenly EUX claims 4 in a fight, and suddenly this is looking dangerous for Bath's last hope. 2 more rounds for Hagrid's Hermione's, and they've got the economy advantage for the time being. Bath have to take a bit of a force here potentially. I'm not sure I'm a fan of this, but this does give Hagrid's the opportunity. If they win this round, that's Bath not looking too safe coming into that final round potentially, as they're looking to take an angle through onto this C site, knowing that they seem to be taking whenever they push through C and they're able to make an aggressive angle here, they're able to make it work. So they have to try and find something here. Bath are wary of this. Bath know exactly what they want to do here. They've got a bit of a split focus, but that does allow Hagrid's the opportunity just take that split second to think.
Being careful of this push, not aware they might not be just a second away. EUX entry kill once more. Ken shut down on the site is lost. C is in the hands of Hagrid's Hermione's. Now they're going to be able to have the setup they want. I'm Not Cute is kept away from smokes, but still they're lurking, waiting for any opportunity to get back into this. And the push is going to come through from Kimmy Yu. Jerry finds 2 though to back things up, push things in the favor of Bath. Zero, a double return, again, spamming through, trying to find everything. And that's another one. Alfie backs up one more. 12 rounds, a single round away from this win is Hagrid's Hermione's. Bath Last Hope really running out of luck, and they need more right now. Their force comes through, but it's not enough in the end.
Well, this is certainly the last hope for Bath here. 12-5 on Haven. As Hagrid's Hermione's, they find that crucial early pick and then make something happen out of it. They have to make this happen just one more time, I reckon, because it's not looking good for Bath here. They don't have much in hand, and it's not going to be easy for them. Asina's going to walk forward, try and catch out somebody early, at least get some info down. But it's not looking easy as Hagrid for the time being can look towards this B site. I say that Sinner will be able to take care of Nebula, looking for a little bit of a lurk on A, but they're able to take this B site for the time being because of that. And Kimmy Yu just going to walk around the corner, Molly in hand. Just clean onto them as they do get traded out again. It's Scrappy on the point. As I'm Not Cute finds 2. It is just JWB against Sinner and I'm Not Cute. But if you need anyone in the situation, the Sova going to be the one you'd want that Sova here. You've got the time, you've got the utility, you've got the timing, but Sinner not quite able to find it. As I'm Not Cute swinging around with confidence in the Phantom. And that saves it for Bath here.
Just a bit dangerous there. Almost lost in just a second, but no. Bath Last Hope come together in the end. They find the last kill, and they're just careful. They're just safe for now. 1 kill away, though, was it all. But no, they're going to come back into this game. They got a better buy as well than they did the last. They kind of forced their way through, and they got that round where unexpected. But no, it's going to be still 5 rifles, hopefully needed on both sides. Still up in the air, 6 in a row. Is what's required.
Yeah.
Daunting task.
We've seen bigger comebacks before, but it's dangerous business as Sinner! What was that?
That was insanely taps on. Like a 6th sense finds it in the end. That's the opening kill. EUX forced away. The defense is coming through on the other way of the site. To try and back things up. EUX trying to make anything happen. Spike not quite down yet. Double from the ultimate with Jero. EUX returns the favor of the kill, but it's still in the favor. 5 alive. I'm Not Cute coming up for more. EUX double with the ultimate. Triple, but it's not quite enough in the end. They can't make it all happen. Bath have 7, and they're coming through again.
My heart is in my mouth after that. We see, frankly, one of the most ridiculous flicks I have ever seen from Sinner. Could you even see his head from there? Because I couldn't see anything. That was an insane 6th sense flick. And then Jero, perfect timing with the Hunter's Fury to take care of 2. And Bath, it's coming together, but it's still feeling a little bit like they're just waiting for hero plays. And it's risky, but I like seeing this. It's not desperation yet, but it's confidence. It's saying we have to try, we have to give everything we have now. It's Hagrid's Hermione's. Not really contested taking the C site, but there is a lot left. Is Lockdown going to come forward?
Once more, the site is in the control of Hagrid Hermione's again on C, and we've got to play for the retake again. Ken finds 1, and Lockdown is destroyed in that, so it's going to be more down. 5 alive on both sides again was the Phoenix ultimate that was used to keep things up. Ken dropped down to Zia with the classic pistol. Alfie wins more. Sinner double for Alfie. Playing for this round. What's the win now? And Zaya helps things out. It's just down to 1 ball. Play for Alfie. Shuts things down. It's